Some pushed to the brink. In Hidalgo County, Texas, patients are waiting up to 10 hours before an initial exam.
It's very difficult when you are putting your mom's best friend in a body bag.
John Place spent 17 days on a ventilator after the virus spread through his entire Florida household. His son contracted the virus at a friend's house.
They're not understanding that if they walk out again and infect somebody else and bring it home, especially if they live in a multi-generational home, other people aren't going to be so lucky.
And with the school year fast approaching, the debate is raging over how to get kids back to school. In Missouri, Governor Mike Parson defending his decision to reopen them this fall.
And if they do get COVID-19, which they will, and they will when they go to school, they're not going to the hospitals. They're not going to have to sit in doctor's offices. They're going to go home, and they're going to get over it.
In Ohio, where there was an anti-mask rally at the State House over the weekend, Governor Mike DeWine now worried Ohio could become the next Florida.
You look at our numbers today versus where Florida was a month ago, we have very similar numbers. So we're very, very concerned.
Local leaders are concerned here, too. There is now a strict 8 p.m. curfew in effect for some of the most popular areas here on South Beach, like Ocean Drive. And if you don't wear a mask, David, you'll get fined.
Victor Kendall in Florida tonight. Thank you, Victor. And deceiving President Trump and the coronavirus after months of criticism, he tweeted this photo of himself wearing a mask today and what he said with that image. And the president also revealing he's now bringing back those daily coronavirus task force briefings amid polls showing Joe Biden with a significant lead and Americans questioning the president's handling of the pandemic. Here's our chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Carl, tonight.
After weeks of saying little to nothing about the surge in COVID-19 infections across the country, the president says he's changing course.
So I think what we're going to do is I'll get involved and we'll start doing briefings.
The move comes after his political advisors warned that if he doesn't convince more people he is taking the pandemic seriously, he is likely to lose in November.
We had very successful briefings. I was doing them, and we had a lot of people watching, record numbers watching.
But those briefings abruptly ended not long after the president speculated about injecting disinfectants.
Is there a way we can do something like that? By injection inside or almost a cleaning.
The president shifted his focus to other subjects, referring to outbreaks of COVID-19 as, quote, embers that could easily be put out. Chris Wallace of Fox News challenged him on that.
But this isn't burning embers, sir. This is a forest fire.
But I don't say, I say flames. We'll put out the flames, and we'll put out, in some cases, just burning embers. Florida became more flame-like, but it's going to be under control.
He also called Dr. Anthony Fauci, the government's leading expert on the virus, an alarmist, and said he opposed a national mandate to wear masks.
I want people to have a certain freedom, and I don't believe in that, no.
But today, his Surgeon General said there is no threat to freedom in asking someone to wear a mask.
I'm begging you, please understand that we are not trying to take away your freedoms when we say wear a face covering.
And later, 3 months after the CDC recommended people wear masks, the president tweeted this picture, saying, quote, "Many people say that it is patriotic to wear a face mask when you can't socially distance. There is nobody more patriotic than me." Congress is now debating another coronavirus relief bill. Both Democrats and Republicans want to include billions of dollars for the states to expand testing, also more money for the CDC and the NIH. The White House has proposed stripping all that money from the bill, saying there's already unspent funds in the pipeline, but that is not going to fly. I talked to congressional Republicans tonight who said that that bill will almost certainly include more money for testing and the CDC and NIH.
Dan, of course, we'll track it, John. Thank you. Now, the other news this Monday night and the deadly attack on the family of a federal judge. The alleged gunman dressed as a FedEx delivery man. He shot and killed the judge's son at the front door, then shooting her husband. He's in the hospital tonight. And this evening, what we're now learning about the suspect. Here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos from New Jersey.
Tonight, the mystery deepening into the brazen daytime shootings at the New Jersey home of federal judge Esther Salas by a man dressed in a FedEx uniform, his face covered. 5 p.m. Sunday, authorities say Judge Salas' 20-year-old son Daniel answers the door, is shot and killed. Salas' husband, Mark Anderl, is also then shot and survives. The suspect spotted by a neighbor walking away calmly.
He's not like running or someone's following him, no, not that way.
Sad. Really sad.
Then today, in Liberty, New York, 100 miles north of the crime scene, law enforcement sources say the alleged shooter had been found dead in a car from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot. That suspect, law enforcement sources identifying as Manhattan lawyer and self-described anti-feminist Roy Den Hollander. In 2015, he represented a woman before Judge Salas who wanted to register for the military draft, but was replaced for unknown reasons June of 2019. He's also known for suing Manhattan nightclubs over ladies' night discounts, telling ABC News in 2007,
"I'm now trying to turn this tables of equality on the feminazis who have changed this country."
Judge Salas was reportedly in the basement at the time of the shootings and not harmed.
Authorities are investigating any connections to Hollander besides the 2015 case and if he made any threats. David.
Stephanie, thank you. In Washington today to tribute for Congressman John Lewis, an emotional moment of silence from his colleagues in the House of Representatives. Speaker Nancy Pelosi asked everyone present and staff throughout the Capitol to remember the civil rights leader who went on to be called the conscience of the Congress. The chamber breaking out in a spontaneous round of applause afterward. And John Lewis, in his own words, right here, later in the broadcast tonight. In the meantime, next to the standoff in Portland, Oregon, federal law enforcement officers using tear gas on protesters and taking some of them off the street by force. And what the president is now saying, ABC's Kana Whitworth from Portland.
Tonight, a city on edge. Over the weekend, some demonstrators responding to the president's deployment of federal agents officially there to protect federal property, clashing on the streets. Video tweeted out by Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley shows a protester being detained and placed in an unmarked minivan. Customs and Border Protection officials saying its agents took the action in the video because the protester was suspected of assaults against federal agents or destruction of federal property, and that suspect was moved into a safer location for further questioning. 29-year-old Mark Pettibone says something similar happened to him.
I feared for my life and I ran. And they eventually caught up with me and pulled me into the van.
City and state officials demanding the removal of